Just let me know when it's started.
We are all set.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. We love that you are willing and able to join us if you are truly in New York during your lunch hour. We figured it would be a good time to meet. People often have an opportunity to take a break, and it's just such a good opportunity to do it, to meet up and go over our Workfront topic of the day. So, as Colby said earlier, happy Workfront Wednesday -1. It's Workfront Tuesday for us, and we're happy to meet up for our second meeting of 2026. We got in just under the second quarter. So tomorrow starts third quarter of the year, which is crazy. But we wanted to, make sure that we got our second quarter meeting in just under the gun. And as the topic for today, we're going to focus on Workfront and AI. So we're excited to have a healthy conversation. We're going to go over some housekeeping stuff first. We're going to also go over some news and promotions. And then we're going to talk about AI, and we're happy to show just a few very simple demos. And then we want to open up the conversation to anyone who's on this call to, share what your experience has been, and then also, ask questions, and maybe we can, just have a discussion. So pass it over to Colby to go over some housekeeping.
Perfect. Echoing Joanne, thank you guys so much for joining today. Whether it's a Tuesday, a Monday, a Sunday, or Workfront Wednesday itself, I am confident that the majority and everyone of this call will treat and love Workfront any day of the week. So excited for today's topic, putting the WF in AI, going over some housekeeping. Please let us know via the chat if you're having any tech issues. Also, when not speaking, please make sure to mute your microphones to reduce background noise. We also have the chat function for questions, comments, and we'll make sure that we go through them as the WUG presentation pursues. If we are going long with time, we'll manage this expectation. And also, if you need to hop off early, this meeting will be recorded and shared afterwards. Also, if you are not yet a WUG-NYC member, we attach the link that we'll share in the materials afterwards for you guys to go in and officially sign up.
Perfect.
And I will hand it back to you.
Thanks. So as always, we usually go over the house rules, and just want to reiterate during this call as well to say, obviously it's a safe space for members, so there are certain things that we want and ask you to abide by, but also Adobe requires us to abide by. And those 3 items are no self-promotion. We don't want you to be pitching any sort of, personal items. It's not permitted by Adobe or the user group events of any kind. So just thought it was worth saying out loud. And the other thing is, I know there's interaction between people within the user groups, and we think that's great. But if someone doesn't give you their consent to reach out and contact them, we would ask that you don't do that. If you are chatting during the call and, you make an arrangement to reach out to each other outside of this group, great. Feel free to do that. We're happy to make those connections for you. And then, if there is a user who comes off of mute and shares their experience and their use case during this call, we would ask that you just don't share that information without their consent again. It's very simple. 3 rules to review. I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Colby.
Thank you, Joanne. So just as a notice, as I'm sure you're seeing the recording at the top of the screen, this meeting is recorded. If you don't wish to participate in a live recorded session, please feel free to watch the recording at a later time. Also, you can reach out to Joanne, myself, or the email advocacy@adobe.com to have this session sent out, or if you have any additional questions. But yeah, for today, this meeting will be recorded and we will be hosting on the Adobe User Group YouTube channel to promote training, education, and future learning. Then we also, kind of following in suit with the previous slide talking about joining the WUG-NYC chapter, if just to make sure, another just call out here, we'd like you to stay connected with the chapter, where making sure that you are joined so that once you are able to see all of the notifications and reminders about new events that have been posted. Moreover, if you are not official WUG-NYC chapter member, you won't receive any event notifications, and we want to make sure you guys receive all of the events, all of the communications going out. So if you haven't joined as of yet, please make sure to do so.
Great. Thanks, Colby.
Of course.
Now, as promised, we're going to go over some news and promotions. So there are a couple of items here to discuss. The first and foremost thing is, I know everyone's favorite virtual event is the Skill Exchange. There are 6 products being highlighted in August. So there are over 50 sessions to join, but the Skill Exchange is usually great. You know, a great user experience within the community. And so these are the dates. On August 5th, Workfront. On August 6th, Workfront and AEP plus apps. And then on August 12th and 13th, they're going to be going over AEM, analytics, commerce, Marketo Engage, and AI. So just mark your calendars for that. I believe the registration doesn't open until July 8th. So that's 1 week from today, I think. Or tomorrow, 1 week from tomorrow, sorry. So just thought it was really worth calling out that the Skill Exchange is coming up. And then I will pass it to Colby just to discuss WUG chapters.
Yeah, so absolutely. So if team right now, if you're interested or know anyone in the below areas for being a co-leader in a WUG chapter, we're currently accepting applications for Boston, Chicago, DC, Maryland, Virginia, Minnesota, Utah, and other metro areas to be determined. But if you have any interest, we have contact Julie, but moreover, if you can contact us directly and we can have you in touch with Julie as well. But it's a great opportunity. So again, if you know anyone in these areas, the WUG is growing across the board. So we're excited to see some of these new areas and see some new members across.
Yeah, it's such a, and you know, Colby and I can speak to this very personally too. So if any of you aren't truly in the New York area and you're interested in, you know, joining or starting or co-leading in one of these areas, we can speak to it personally, because Colby and I never knew each other before, and we now have the opportunity of building a really good Workfront relationship and a WUG co-leader relationship. It's really cool. So
and we're best friends.
So we're BFFs. Yeah, for sure. So feel free to reach out to us to, you know, hear about our personal experience too. And then the last thing in news and promotions I'll just add is something called Adobe Workfront Perspective. So this is a really cool program. It's like use cases and best practices. They're written and governed by not only your peers, but also by Adobe. Each area of interest, if you want, there's a QR code there on that screen. If it's not letting you scan it, let us know. We can drop the the link in the chat as well so that you can navigate over to perspectives. But it's really cool. It has different areas of interest, and each area of interest is very clearly labeled. It'll say like either peer driven or Adobe driven. So it's really cool. There are tips and tricks, there are technical guides, there are best practices, and real world use cases up there. So it's kind of a really cool space. And while Adobe has, shared all this information with us to share with you, it's just really worth pointing out that Adobe has all these great resources, and this is one of those really cool things that you may or may not have known about, and it's worth looking into. So now onto the WF in AI. I'm going to pass it along to Colby to get us started.
Yes. So the bread and butter of today's conversation, Workfront and AI. I know everyone on this call has heard of AI used in one way or another. I'm sure we're all focusing on that in our day to day, whether as our roles and responsibilities different across every one of us. AI has become a topic, a theme, an application, and understanding that we're all working through in our day to day. So, with Workfront specifically, we'll be going through a few of the different or overview of Workfront and AI. On the left hand, we're outlining some of the AI and agentic capabilities, right? With Workfront, there's AI Assistant. There's Workfront Planning AI Assistant as well. Your little Workfront buddy, your lion cub, as you would, inside of your instances to help you navigate certain areas. Additionally, there's the project health. So really helping you look at the different scores that surface potentially, and helping different users across your systems just get a quick pulse on an active project or a suite of them. Next, there's AI collaborators, and we'll get into that a little bit later, and Workfront MCP. If we look at campaign planning and project health and risk, before AI and Workfront, it was manual. That's how the best way to put it, because we were going in and being able to assess based off our reports or diving into the updates or looking at the tasks, right, where or manually generating things, while with the AI assistant being able to help just take that breadth of information of all of our instances and bottle it down into a simple area for us to have a quick update, a quick just report out. And I think that is helpful for system admins, but it's also very important for our users. Now, one thing I'll say to just Workfront and AI, there are prerequisites to enable these features. First, your organization must be on the select or hire package. You have to have migrated to Adobe IMS, the identity management system, moreover, the Adobe Unified Experience, and most importantly, you will need to have the Adobe Gen I agreement on file. And we'll spend some more time in these topics and capabilities in the upcoming slides, but wanted to just use this slide as a brief overview of how to get started, what are the capabilities, and we'll dive into some detail further. And I'll pass it back to Joanne.
Okay, thanks. And thanks for going over those requirements and prerequisites, because I was going to do it as well. But yeah, I think it's really important to obviously understand that if your organization doesn't have a select or hire agreement or Workfront package, then this may not pertain to you, but it's always really good information to hear about to bring back value to your organization. So thanks, Colby, for going over all that stuff. And this is just a general slide. I'm going to go over some expanded functionality as well. So as Colby was saying, there are ways of working now within Workfront using the AI assistant that can help you get, to the end goal within your work. It's offering information, suggestions, um, and it can give you a much smoother and a much better work experience, by utilizing its capabilities, like summarizing some work items or reviewing your documents that have been uploaded into Workfront, um, finding instructions on how to do something way back when. And for those of you who have been Workfront users and admins for quite some time, we didn't we didn't have AI to help us along. Now, using the AI assistant, it's really remarkable that you can just type in things to find them or to help you along in doing some of those administrative tasks or even some reporting tasks, which we'll go over in a little while. But yeah, it's really remarkable how much support you can get from this. So going through those work processes. And then, lastly, generating or checking formulas for calc fields. Yeah. And then just quickly to go over some of that functionality. So what do I mean by summarizing? I mean summarizing projects, tasks, issues, or documents that are within the system. Providing instructions for documentation or how to do stuff, or referencing information that's pulled from the helpx, the experience league, right? Locating specific items that are within Workfront. Oh my God, I've been searching for this thing. I can't find it. If it exists, Workfront AI Assistant can help you find it. And like I said in the last slide, refining formulas for calc fields. And please note that this functionality is only available to orgs on the Prime or Ultimate Workfront plans. So it's kind of a high level functionality. But it is available if you are within those higher limits, those higher plans. And then, lastly, just talking about some of the other functionalities that are available: summarizing updates, summarizing uploaded documents, other notable changes within your projects, within the following timeframes, right? 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, in priorities, etc. So, utilizing some of those standard timeframes within the Workfront instance. And then I'll pass it back over to Colby to talk about some other things like object types.
Thank you, Joanne. So yeah, looking at everything that Joanne stated right in the previous slides, the AI system can query data associated with the following object types if the user has valid permissions in Workfront. So think of like Workfront. I love the fact that there's so many objects and they're so versatile, and they have each one has a set of functionality that can help us achieve whatever we're looking to do. So really the AI assistant and all of those, portfolios, programs, projects, tasks, issues, custom forms, users, and Workfront planning records will be able to, the AI assistant can help guide us in those objects also. Where I think the biggest thing is, I think sometimes as we're going through and like we're looking to build something, we're getting caught, or at least for me, and like sometimes I need a gut check, the AI assistant can help us guide, be like, hey, like, how do I make sure that this custom form is able to be edited by a certain user type or something of that nature? That's where like the guidance of the AI assistant can really, while it is object wide, it can help you as you're building, it can help you guide and for some additional functionality. So it's good to know that AI assistant is not just focused to requests or a certain project. You really can use it to help assist you in the breadth of your Workfront instance.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we're going to be going into some tips. So we'll share the slide after the call, but we were looking at some tips for creating prompts in AI systems. So using the following keywords in your prompts to provide context and aid in locating the correct information. So when entering your prompt, include the phrase using the keyword listed to the right. So if you're looking for something specific in, planning, make sure to include planning. If you're looking for health, you're going to get your project health by putting in that term. Summarizing, like I know I'd say too that utilizing the AI system and prompts overall is kind of like you'll go in and you'll test and learn, and you'll then
Totally.
develop your own prompts and statements that you like to use. And I think they can be, for our instance, I'm putting together just a list of like standard prompt examples that are going to be like, hey, here's your cheat sheet for using this prompt to find this information. But one of the biggest things is these keywords will help you navigate smoother in the prompts that you generate. And we have some excellent prompt examples coming up.
Great. So, so I just want to jump to the bottom of this slide before I go over some of these prompt examples. I thought it was really important to indicate that, the AI assistant, it does enforce your existing Workfront access. So speaking about more so to permissions and sharing settings, right? So if something hasn't been shared with you and you're looking for information on it, the result's not going to come back for you. And that is by design, right? So if something's been shared with you or another, or if you have shared something with another user or a member of your organization, great, and they're using the AI assistant, they'll be able to find it. But if they're, using a prompt and they're looking for information on something that hasn't been shared with them, there is going to be a limited amount of information returned to them. So I thought it was really important to talk through that. Because as we were putting these slides together, it was something that popped into mind that, Workfront has smartly designed into their AI assistant. Yes, they're returning results, they're returning good results, but they're only returning good results as it pertains to control policies within your organization. They're not going to, just reveal something that's within your Workfront instance that hasn't been shared with someone in your organization. So thought it was worth mentioning. But on the slide, you can see a couple of prompt examples that pertain to information about your work, not necessarily functionality, but about your work. So some project object type examples are, what's the due date for my project? Or what is the status of said project? Or who is the project owner for said project? I know these things are extremely simple, but perhaps, someone else who's perhaps a project manager and they're looking for their colleague's project that they do have access to, they're not necessarily, informed about when the due date is, or, etc. They can be informed using the AI assistant. Task related items, an example would be which tasks are assigned to me this week. So perhaps a member who has been assigned tasks within current projects, they can get a full list of that. Issues, what open issues are assigned to my team, or what open issues are awaiting my response, etc. So these are types of things that you can start to ask the AI assistant about, and it'll return good information. And then lastly, users, like who is on the creative team for said project, or how many tasks are assigned to this user. I'm a project manager and I need to know so that I can manage the workload, or I'm a resource manager and I need to know how many tasks are assigned to this user. So these are just some simple prompt examples about your work. And then on the next slide, it's sort of more about that functionality, about the Workfront actions, right? So some of the project examples are, how do I create a new project from a template? Yeah, I'm certain that anyone on this call is not asking this question, but perhaps someone at your organization who's newer to Workfront doesn't realize how to do that. And to the other point of view for that is, perhaps you have things locked down in a certain manner where you can only create a project from a request queue or something like that. So these are things that you can start to ask AI. What's the difference between a project and a program? So again, these are sort of remedial questions that maybe a newer Workfront user might have questions about. Tasks, right? How do I assign a task to multiple users? As we all know, there are many, many different ways to achieve this, but AI can show you those ways of working. What does the ready to start status mean, right? Explaining this action to a user might be important to someone, or other sorts of task work actions. Issue work actions example. How do I convert a request into a task? What's the life cycle of an issue in Workfront? So these are some of the things that might pop up. How do I escalate a request? And if that's something within your organization that you do, Workfront can help you. The AI can help you. And then lastly, how do I upload a new version of a document? Perhaps you've got a review and approval cycle working in your project or within an associated object within your Workfront instance. You can ask how to do that. And can I set up a document approval workflow? That's something that people might not be very aware of, that they can even do it. So asking these types of questions could be very relevant to your organization. But these are just some ideas, and they are, rather simple, but perhaps they will make a big impact on some of your workers as well. I'm going to pass it back over to Colby.
Thank you, Joanne. And just taking a quick pause, looking into the chat, great questions. I mean, as admins, right, we'd love to see, in terms of adoption and training, right, being able to see how we're getting reports or run reports on what people are querying, how the AI assistant is being utilized. At the moment, I do not have a clear answer, but I wrote it down to follow up. I believe there's something within the inside of setup and data connect. There might be a way to explore that, but excellent question. I think that's fruitful for everyone to know, and we'll make sure to follow up and have that to share with the team. Okay, perfect. Then going into AI collaborators. So AI collaborators is huge. It's a way to onboard agents into our projects and tasks, and we can configure an AI collaborator, then assign it as we would a user. Now, today, the only AI collaborator available is the reviewer. That takes some initial setup, but in concept, right, it's this reviewer that you set up with a brand, and in the brand that's defined, you have your tone of voice, you have your different brand guidelines included, and this AI collaborator reviewer would be able to assess a document or certain files that they're only able to monitor, but it'd be able to review and provide feedback and call out things that might be but like not computing directly with your brand guidelines that you have set up in the system. I'd say while that reviewer is available today, other ones I know I've seen on roadmaps, and especially with like what we'll get into the next with the MCP, but this is, I feel, a very important and monumental shift with AI collaborators. And once the system is able to develop more and expand further, we could see things like where Workfront will be developing additional AI collaborators. I know there's a project manager in scope and that's being worked on today, but also if teams have an enterprise LLM, right, there's a lot of agents built inside of those that could at a future date plausibly be distinct users inside of your Workfront system. But where we say that they can be in our projects and tasks, it's very interesting because these AI collaborators could be assigned as you'd see them as a user inside of our systems. So in a project and a task workflow, they could be assigned a task. And then as soon as the processes are complete leading up to their task, you can have it activated to perform the different functionality of the different collaborators you have set in place. Very exciting.
Mhm.
I have not yet. I'm currently in just building out the framework for the reviewer. So hopefully by Q3, I can report back and just our own internal results, but definitely looking forward to this. I see it as, not sure if your guys' systems have a review compliance resource kind of built inside of your Workfront instances, but for me, I look at it as the ability to a pre-step before going to a marketing reviewer or a brand reviewer, to help streamline creative development and also review in the later turn. But I can't wait for Q3's meeting to report back on this. And to report back and hopefully the development of the next slide as I look to explore, which is Workfront MCP.
I think that was also your slide. Yes?
Yes, I was just waiting for it to load. Sorry.
Oh, is it not loading?
Oh, perfect now.
Okay, great. Sorry.
So just as a broad overview, the Adobe Workfront MCP server connects to your Workfront instance to an AI agentic platform such as Claude or ChatGPT. From the AI agentic platform, you can find, create, update, and manage Workfront items by natural language requests. And we included some examples. So show me all active projects for the brand marketing team, or update the design review task so it finishes in April for project 123. Also, send a reminder to approvers on the asset spring campaign video who haven't responded. So where Workfront MCP would develop, and this works if you have an enterprise LLM, but being able to use that agentic platform to be able to then read, and within Workfront, there's also write within Workfront, which you have to make sure it abides by all of your company's policies, but essentially workfronting from your agentic platform, which is really cool. So if you're in that, right, you'd be able, it's kind of like AI assistant, but connected to your AI assist that you have across the board, and then being able to really ramp up and it works, I think, for adoption as well. For like some users might prefer to operate out of that system versus directly in Workfront all the time. Or if you're already in that system, you can facilitate and move something along the Workfront. So there's a lot more. I think Workfront MCP was just on June 18th launched. So more to come, more news. We just want to provide an overview of it to put on your radar as you begin expanding your WF and AI journeys.
Awesome. So in a minute, I'm going to stop sharing. And Colby, do you want to demo first? You want me to demo first? Up to you.
I'll hand it to you, Joanne. My instance is
No.
I unfortunately don't have my demonstration ready to share, but we'll have on a future call.
Okay.
But and while you're setting up, Joanne, does that require Gen Studio as an extra cost question? Excellent question. Let's follow up with that. I'd ask your Adobe rep that question. I do not think, I think it's available with brands, just having the AI addendum, but again, I would check with your Adobe rep and we'll find some information on that as well.
Great. All right, I am going to, hang on a minute. let's see if I can share a window. Oops. Share a screen. Share a window. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Colby. Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I'm sharing a preview site, right? Because you know, I just wanted to show you some very simple things, right? So I have a couple of like very simple prompts that I'm gonna go through with you. So can you show me all my tasks from project Workfront user group meeting AI assistant that are assigned to Joanne Duckman? And if I hit enter, it's gonna start thinking about this. Oh, and you know what? Before I know I pulled up a screen that already was showing the AI assistant, but just very important to note, here's where you're going to find that AI assistant. So it's up in the top right-hand corner, and you'll recognize AI, an AI icon up there. So my prompt, my very simple prompt, has returned some good stuff here, right? So it's showing me a specific Workfront project task list that's been assigned to me. And obviously these aren't all in order, but it's like plan content, meet with Colby, send slides to Julie or her, and these dates are all off. But had they been set up at at a more appropriate timeline, but this is just an example, right? Rehearse, review content, etc. So these are this is just a very basic understanding of like what can you do and how quickly can it return a result for you. And the other thing I really like about this is it not only shows you what you're looking for, but then creates hyperlinks and a due date task list as well. So just some very simple, like show me object information within Workfront. And then, if I'm, perhaps building a report, I can even take this further. Perhaps I'm stuck and I really need to know how to, I'm trying to put together a user report that's going to show me items that are in a list view, but I can't figure out like how to build that functionality. And again, like eons ago, like back in 2016, when I was taking advanced reporting classes in Workfront, trying to figure out how to do all this stuff, and searching online for text mode and stuff. Perhaps I'm building a report and I need for Workfront to show me how to build a column that's using text mode that builds this specific thing. Here I'm asking it for a list of assignees and their hours on a project. So I'm going to hit enter. And again, it's going to like think through it, and then it's going to return back a list of instructions on how to achieve it. Like, go to your report building, and then click on add a column, switch to text mode, add the text mode, and then it gives you some suggestions. What I can say about this is it has returned some really good results for me in the past. Sometimes I have to like go and use some of my other AI functionality or some of my I have thorough cheat sheets on text mode building for report building and stuff for my own personal use. So then I've taken some of what the AI assistant returns back to me, and then I've looked through my own results as well, my cheat sheets, and I've combined some of it to get that really perfect result for me. I do know that they're still continuing to build some of the Workfront AI capabilities. So, but I think for the most part, if you're trying to get from point A to point B, it really does set you up for a place where you can start to get good information, really try and achieve some of the things that you couldn't do maybe at a glance before. So I do know, and I'll just speak very generally to this because I don't only work on Workfront. I work on the entire Adobe product line that my organization provides to users. And primarily, I work on a lot of the creative tools as well. And the AI assistant and the creative tools, which was, launched a while back, has been really remarkable. They've actually just recently built it into the Firefly, web app for boards and things like that. And it's really, really good. Like right off the bat, like the first V1 has provided very good information. I'm seeing the same sort of result in Workfront, personal experience anyway, where I'm getting really good, I'm getting really good information back from some of these prompts. I can ask for other things. What portfolio is the project? What portfolio and program, right, is the project Workfront user group meeting dash AI assistant? That's just trying to think through, like, what could I potentially need? What is the information that I need to return back? Like, it really does do a good job of scrubbing through and see. It has now shared with me. It's provided me the accurate portfolio. I can say with 100% certainty that these are the correct pieces of information within my organization where this project lives. So it's just really interesting. And again, it provides you with a link to the project, a link to the portfolio, a link to the program. So you can very quickly navigate through your system. And I think, again, thinking through and talking through and working through some of the capabilities of what's been provided within Workfront, where we were maybe 5 years ago to where we are today. I think it's just helping with efficiencies, right? Like I don't have to go dig through and look for and where did I put that, or where did someone else put that? They shared it with me, but I'm not seeing it. And the search functionality, while it's great, it's not returning anything for me right now. So again, like this AI assistant is really providing very good information at a glance. And as Colby indicated earlier, and I'm going to say this too, you know, I think we're all still learning. I think we're all still like exploring. We don't have current work related workflows provided to our organization as it pertains to the Workfront AI just yet. But I think every organization is working through those right now currently and asking themselves, what am I looking for? What can I potentially provide for my users? What potentially could I provide to the organization that's going to make them a little bit more efficient? You know, everyone's using AI today. I know different organizations have different compliance concerns, and perhaps legal gets involved as well. But that's from organization to organization. And I do think that, working with your organization to identify how you could potentially use these tools is a very interesting conversation to be having. With that said, we would love to hear from you, from any of you who are currently utilizing AI or utilizing some of the newer capabilities within Workfront. If any of you would like to come off of mute and just speak to your personal experience or what you're exploring, we would love to hear it. Yeah, Charlie.
Hey there.
Hey.
I just wanted to share my experience with the component in Assistant that they're calling, uh, locating items in Workfront.
Mhm.
You know, that really is just kind of an on the fly, simple report that it's building. And I found it pretty restrictive on its returns. So it's limited to 20 items and it's limited to the
Mm.
width, which is fixed of the AI window that comes up. So I have kind of been instructing people when I demonstrate that to start with their first question and then filter down. So maybe, you know, show me the projects due this week, then filter to that are high priority, that are, you know, in this particular status. And then depending on naming conventions for different organizations, a good prompt is show only the name. So you've got those clickable names that you might actually be able to read because sometimes they've got project numbers and things in front. So
Yeah,
just
that's great information. And funny enough, like, I think it's really good guidance to start at a very sort of specific level so that you're not getting you know, the need for 100 responses. You know, if I feel like the more specific you are, the better return you're going to get anyway. But that's really good guidance. And also, I find it interesting. Yes, the width within. I don't believe that you can change the width of that AI assistant prompt area within the area, and it could be very limiting. So
yeah.
great,
I'm hoping
great
that might be
feedback.
something that they change in the future.
Yeah.
So looking to
Well,
provide feedback in that regard.
we're, you know, oh, Workfront. You know,
Mhm.
we can all get on the bandwagon and go to, I don't think they call it the idea exchange anymore, but they used to call it that. And, you know, go request like do some feature requesting through the organization to like perhaps through any of our organizations to perhaps widen that limit, or even just, you know, give us the ability to open and close that window, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or a
I
pop
want
up.
I want it wide while I'm searching, but then I want it limited while I'm working in the environment. I understand why they did it simply, but because you still want to be able to see what's popping up within the environment. But when I'm in AI assistant, I want to see what's in the AI assistant. Very good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah. And the one thing I feel like I've recognized is that like I think more and more as you're seeing the AI being unlocked across like AEP, Marketo, like all of the other Adobe tools, that they're all centralized, or I'm seeing similarities where like sometimes some instance of AI looks this way, and I can see another instance of AI in another tool getting closer to that approach. So I think it's great feedback, and I love the filter down approach, right? Like, because if you're with AI in general, I feel like if you're gonna ask for everything, you're gonna get everything, but you
Yeah,
don't want
it's
everything,
true.
right? We want we want a baseline and then to build off and get granular from there. So definitely love that breakout. The any other items, team? Any current AI experiences, or even if we want to, if you have any questions right now, please feel free to come off mute and share.
No, but we're not going to limit it. We do have one more item to talk through for just as a parting piece of information and resource for you. If I can get back to my slides, hang on 2 seconds. There we go. So share window. Oops. Sorry. 2 seconds. Colby, can you see my slides?
Yes, additional
Okay.
resources.
Perfect. Okay, so our last slide that we had to share with you is just talking about some free events for Workfront system admins that are upcoming. And they are all events that are published to the events page on Experience League. But on July 9th, there's the Adobe Workfront third quarter 2026 release webinar. So that's happening at 11 a.m. to 12. On July 28th, the full picture financial management capabilities in Workfront. And then on August 13th, unlock, access, maintain, control, permissions, and business profiles within Workfront. So those are three sort of free events that are upcoming that are good information to hear about for Workfront system admins. So yeah, wanted to just share that slide before hanging up. But if there are no other questions, we want to really thank you for your time today. I know spending an hour on this call is not easy all the time, but hopefully you got some good information. And as Colby stated earlier, these slides will be posted to the Workfront user group YouTube channel. Hopefully when Julie is back. I know Adobe is closed this week for their summer break, but everyone will be back next week. But Colby, I don't know if you want to leave us with anything.
Yeah, no, thank you, Joanne. Thank you for driving and piloting us through this WUG Q2 adventure. But again, team, thank you guys so much for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. While AI is new, like Joanne and I are just getting into it right now, and come Q3, we'll have some use cases developed, and I'm sure all of you that are starting this journey also will. So we're excited to see where we go and we all go. So thank you guys. And I hope you have a lovely finish to Q2 and a great start to Q3. Thank you guys.
Thank you.